I've got a very special guest here. And this guy came out to my office about a month or a month and a half ago. And I immediately, you know when you like see somebody and you immediately love them? You're like, oh, I love this person. There's something about them. The energy connects, and you just want to hear and listen and talk, and you want to reminisce, and you want to talk. It's just, I'm one of those kind of people that you can't get enough of. This guy was that guy for me. And as you guys know, Jim Rohn was a very important part, still is a very important part, of the ingredients that make up my brain. And this guy said, oh man, I knew Jim very well, He went on and on and on, and we talked about stories like we were old friends that we knew each other for years and years. And what he's going to be able to do for you is help get your mind thinking to the next level. He flew all the way out here from North Carolina. He's helped thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people go and become part of the top 1%. So, if you could stand up and lose your lungs and give it up to Mr. Michael Powell.
I know what you guys have been drinking. Wow. That's great. You guys look great. Can I just tell you that? It is, it's so exciting for me to be here today. 7 weeks ago, I was supposed to be somewhere else this weekend. Who knew? That was before I met Anthony Powell. And guys, a lot of things have happened in a short period of time. I am so excited to be with you today. I'm just going to share with you for a few minutes. This is an opportunity for me to give back. This is a huge day for me. And I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go along. But Jim Rohn has had a huge, monumental impact on my life and how it's worked out. I'm just a farm boy from Tennessee. Grew up in a small town. That's right. We all hang together. But I never imagined how big my life could be until I started running into coaches and mentors along the way. And I have always referred to Mr. Rohn as just that. Mr. Rohn, he is my chief mentor over all these years. And I'm going to share a few stories with you today. But there are people along the way, and I wasn't a reader in high school. I didn't really like to read. But as I started just sort of pursuing success and kind of out there bumping into things and falling down and not really know what to do or where to go, and I started running into these people that had a big impact on me. And I saw the way they walked. I saw how they talked. I saw how they shook hands with other people. I saw them put their hands on people's shoulders or put their arms around them and mentor and pour into those people. I said, man, I would give anything to be like that. If someday I could have an impact on other people like that, that's who I want to be like. Those were entrepreneurs and captains of enterprise. And one of those individuals introduced me to Jim Rohn. Now, I want to talk about several different authors and speakers today. And I'm fortunate today to be sort of in that category. And I will just tell you this, guys, I'm nobody special. I'm just a student like you. But I've paid attention along the way. For almost 5 decades now, I've been taking notes in a book, just like Mr. Rohn told me. But I will tell you that there are mentors and coaches and authors and speakers that you're going to run into that it's much better to read them than to hear them. I'm going to let you decide which category I fall into. But for example, Dr. Covey, I love Dr. Covey, and obviously he's no longer with us, but his work will live on forever. I believe one of the greatest personal development books ever written is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he deserves it. But I would rather read Dr. Covey than listen to Dr. Covey. So if you ever heard his books and tapes and stuff, ever heard his tapes and audio and CD and video and stuff, he just has this professor's inflection. Sort of like, and he doesn't say sort of, that's a Tennessee word. But Jim Rohn, I could listen to for hours on end. And when I read his words, it was just like he was speaking them directly to me. And I did listen day after day, week after week, year after year. He poured into me just like he was here with me and you. So today's really a special day for me because I almost feel like today I get to share the stage with my chief mentor, Jim Rohn. And I thank all of you guys for being here to make that a special day for me. So one of the things I loved about Mr. Rohn is he'd give you a clue when he's about to do something. Like, here is wisdom. Boy, you got your pen and paper ready, because something good's getting ready to happen. Or he would say, whenever he wanted to refer to a Bible verse, he would say something like, there's an ancient script. Right? So, I was getting ready. Because I'm just an amateur, as Mr. Rohn says, when it comes to the Bible. But I want to be a good student. So, there's an ancient script that says, to everything there is a season, a time and a purpose under heaven. As I believe that's where we are right now. What if this is your time? What if this is the season that you're stepping into, that you've prepared for all these years and maybe half a lifetime? It doesn't matter where you are, young or old or somewhere in between. What if what you're about to step into is a season that you've been preparing for a long time? And that's what Mr. Rohn would say. He'd say, gather up all your experiences and invest them into the next thing. So that's what I'm excited about today, is I feel like we're stepping into that new season. And I feel like it's being done with a purpose. It's already etched. We already know where we're going, what we're doing, what's getting ready to happen. So I want to share with you guys real quickly. I'm going to move pretty fast today. I've got a lot of slides for you. People say, Michael, what do you do exactly? What do you speak on? And I'll talk a little bit about that as we go along today. But guys, really kind of comes down to two things. Number one, when I go in as a consultant or work with other organizations or speak at events or run mastermind groups and all those things I've had the opportunity to do for the last several years, I'm doing it typically to improve the condition of the client. And for some clients, that means improving the condition of the individuals inside the organization. And that excites me. Number two, I'm there as a messenger just to deliver a critical message. And that message could be about anything, but here's what I learned from my coaches and mentors and teachers over the years. It all has a heartbeat of personal growth and personal development. No one ascends to great success without personal growth and personal development. It's just what I found as a student over all these years. Just paying attention and taking good notes. So I've got about 2,000 plus slides now over about 15 years, and I have to constantly move through those, and some of them don't make the cut. So the good news for you guys today is you get way less than 2,000. So it's not so much. People were asking me, Michael, what are you going to talk about? I don't have a clue. We'll see how it goes. You're only going to get about 120 slides today, so I'm going to move pretty quickly. So really, it's not so much what did I bring, but what did I leave behind. So guys, I believe what I have for you today is a message on personal development, personal growth, and mentors and coaches, and those who model success for people like you and me. So I just want to ask you a question, because that's really all we're doing. Here's what I found as a student. Everybody thinks they want the answers. But what I found is, what we really should be looking for are better questions. Because that is where the treasure is buried. That's where all the answers lie. When you begin asking better questions, when you begin hanging around better people, you'll get better questions. You'll think better. You'll think bigger. How cool is it to have someone who believes bigger in you than you can believe even for yourself? That was me once upon a time. It was a stretch for me to even get in the same neighborhood as some of my coaches and how big they believe things could be for me. So here's my question to you. What would you change about your life or your work if you could? Some of you guys are taking notes. I got to tell you, that inspires me. Pumps me up a little bit. Zeke said you got to have your talking pad. Some of you guys are trusting your memory. Good luck with that. But here's what I'll share with you. As I said, I'm nobody special. Don't take notes about what I say, because really what I have to say is not all that important. I mean, I hate to just be brutally honest with you, but I feel like we already know each other. So I might as well just tell you right up front, what I have to say today in the next few minutes, because this is going to go by fast, is not all that important. So don't take notes about what I have to say, but take notes about how you feel, or what you think, or how you respond to what I have to say, because that's for you personally. And the cool thing is I could say something and it might mean 100 different things or 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people in this big room. So that's the cool thing. My first question, what would you change about your life or your work if you could? And here's what I found. You heard Mr. Rohn talk about it earlier, because we can count it, money's usually involved. Right? I mean, if you're going to change something, money is usually involved. So just what I found, how many of you guys, if you were going to change something in your life and money was involved, you think you might be in the right place? Just asking a question. So, what would you be willing to do or become or go through to make it happen? Now the questions get harder, because I can't answer that one for you. Anthony can't answer that one for you. Your sponsor, your upline, your support, your coach, your mentor, they cannot answer that for you. That falls to you. What would you be willing to do? Here's what I'll share with you. Right now, you might not even know you're capable of it. But you just head out in that direction and see what happens. See what begins to happen to you. See what you can become. That's the exciting thing about personal growth and personal development, and having coaches and mentors who believe in you and invest in you. Just like this. How many of you guys know money was involved here? Right? I mean, this is not for free. Right? Somebody had to say, yep, I'm in for all of that and a little bit more. So what would you be willing to go through? That's a personal question to you. Here's what I'll share with you, just as a student. Maximum effort will be required. At some point, you got to dig it out. You got to go for it. All out, flat out, full out, sold out, all in. You got to go for it, because this is your life. Remember, you said you would change it if you could. Right. Man, that's when my coach put it on me. I'm talking about decades ago when he said, write that down. Because he knew one day he would remind me to go take a look at it. He put it on. I'm glad somebody put it on me. When I was feeling sorry for myself, when I was feeling like I couldn't make it, I couldn't go one more day. I know what it's like to be broke. Anyone who's ever, not poor, I didn't say poor, right? Growing up on a farm, and we didn't know we didn't have money. My whole family worked in a factory at one point or another. I had nothing wrong with that. I just determined early on I did not want to do that. But guys, momentum matters in anything you do, especially in this business, in the network marketing industry. And I'm going to share a little bit with you about just some of the notes that I've taken, some of the things that I've learned over about 3 decades in the network marketing business. But here's one of the things that I found. I learned this on the farm. Dr. Covey calls it a law of the farm. It's the law of inertia. I call it the locomotive law. And here's why I say that. because a giant locomotive stopped will not move if a 2-inch piece of wood is placed in front of the wheels of the engine. Won't move. But when that locomotive gets up a head of steam and starts to roll, chugging on down the tracks, gets my grandson excited. Choo-choo, choo-choo. He'll hear that horn out in the distance somewhere, out in the country. Choo-choo, Paw, choo-choo. When that choo-choo gets to rolling, it hits about 40 or 50 or 60 miles an hour. It'll crash through a solid brick wall. That's what momentum does. And any of you in this room are capable of starting momentum, not just in your business, but in your life first. And that's what I want to encourage you with today. That's me in the 2nd grade. Come on, ladies, let's hear it. Oh, that was the guys doing that. All the ladies used to go, right? That's when I had the cute thing working for me. Then you got to get a new plan when you get a little older, right? But that's the Loretta, Tennessee haircut, right? There's only 2 options back then. It was flat or rounded off. That's it. That was the haircut options that we had. That's me in 2nd grade. Now, my 2nd grade teacher was Miss Eulabelle Appleton. It's true. I love Miss Eulabelle, and she loved me. Yeah. I was hall monitor. So at recess, I got my eye on you. Right? I'll never forget coming home at the end of that school year and handing my report card to my mom. And she said, "Son, congratulations, you've been promoted." I said, "Mom, what does that mean?" She said, "You'll be going to 3rd grade next year." Big problem. I did not want to go. I had 2nd grade all figured out. I was somebody in 2nd grade. But here's what I found out later on. There's a whole big, wide, wonderful world down the hall in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, high school, and wherever. You can't live in 2nd grade. Now, lots of people are going to try it. Dude, I got 10 years experience in 2nd grade. Wow. Can't live in 2nd grade. That's why they make those desks so small. Man, you got to get on up and get on down the hall. You don't know what's in store for you in that big old wide wonderful world. This is my grandmother, who was also an author. She wrote about a school building. I lived in that building when I was a little boy. She said at one time there were over 100 children going to school at Pleasant Point. At lunch and recess, we played lots of different games. Drop the handkerchief, pop the whip, jump rope, may I, hopscotch, and the boys played marbles. Friday evenings, we had box suppers, spelling matches. Lots of happy times. I mean, isn't that kind of how school is now? Yeah, if only that were true. Guys, things change. And while things change around us on a very rapid pace, here's what you got to be on guard for. How often are things changing inside me? How often am I updating my software? Right? Mindset, we talked about earlier, is a set of beliefs or a way of thinking that determines one's behavior, actions, outlook, and mental attitude. Now, I learned from Mr. Rome many years ago that you should look up words in the dictionary. Even when you think you know the answer. Because there's bonus coverage in the dictionary. You will stumble upon other things that you weren't really looking for, and it's awesome. It expands you. It expands your vocabulary. It expands your knowledge. You can actually have conversations with like high-level CEOs and people, and everybody in the room are going, huh? I never looked that word up. I know. But it's easy to do. It's easier now because on the smartphone, you use dictionary.com. I mean, you look it up anywhere you are. I actually have dictionaries in my library. But it's easy to do. Here's the problem. It's easier not to do, and that's the option that most people pick. Easier, in fact, is the easiest out there in the world, because that's really the one I'm looking for. I just want the easiest way to make a lot of money and have a great life. No, it's about how you and I think. That's what Napoleon Hill said. Think and grow. Yeah, he said right the cover of the original book, this could be worth $1 million to you. Guess how many people believed him? Not enough. Not enough is the answer. But if you look page after page after page, testimonial after success story, those wealth principles transformed lives. Guys, that's what I love about the network marketing industry. It is a life-transforming environment. Yes or no? Yes.